This is your daily market review for Tuesday, June 17, 2025. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market review, Tuesday, June 17, 2025. As we talked about, the market hadn't figured anything out, and in my opinion, Monday's up move, I said, that gap would get filled. Well, we filled it today. At this point now, going into the FOMC meeting, do we chop around? Do we pull back? Again, geopolitically, I don't think anything's been figured out. But again, the whole idea that the market has to dump because of war, again, we were kind of refuted that in the notes earlier when you look at the average pullback. Now, if this is World War III, then yes, the pullback will be bigger. But if it's a skirmish in the Middle East, that usually gets rectified at some point or priced in. We'll see. Again, I personally, am going through the seasonality notes. And as I've said many times, at the end of June is typically bearish, going into the 4th of July, and then you rise. At this point, everything looks pretty much spot on. And so if you're curious what we're up to, again, check out the Discord room, links description below. If you'd like to connect, let me know. Again, I post my trades, especially the option ones, very easily in the Discord room. Again, the stock ones is basically the same. I don't diversify. I'm not a diversification person. I'm not someone who's overly hedged in multiple positions. It's either I like it or I don't. I like binary thinking. I don't like especially when it comes to whether you should be in there or trade or not. Because if I get kicked out, I don't need to pretend like it's going to happen. If, 3 strikes, you're out. However you have to want to define it. My thinking behind the way that I trade ultimately is if I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Meaning, again, I don't need to have 17 trades that I'm okay with. No, I want to stick to the best ones. Again, everyone's style is different, no worries, but that's how I typically trade. So again, I can go through what I'm in, what I'm up to. And at this point, again, we expect with the market, FOMC meeting tomorrow. Retail sales numbers today were absolutely garbage in my opinion. Again, I think the market is slowing naturally, and the Feds are going to be late, as they always are. And when they're late, yeah, it's just never easy. These guys, they get paid to do their job well, and I really think the Feds are kind of a joke. But all right, if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, links description below. Again, this channel is for education only. If you decide to make a trade, please consult with a financial advisor or your consigliere for finance. So at this point, we know going into tomorrow FOMC meeting, waiting for the Feds. If you'd like to chat, spend 30 minutes, hit the introduction chat, connect with me. Spoke with a fellow Discord friend today about some things. Again, whether you know it or not, market is not easy, but also your mind is the issue, as I like to talk about. Trading to me is easy. It's just executing. I made the analogy, again, if you read Psycho Cybernetics, talks about it. The top 5,000 golfers in the world are all amazing golfers. It's just who can rise up during the pressure, and the same thing in the markets. So again, follow, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, posting on Twitter. Also, again, appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. If you'd like to get involved, again, donations, link in the description below. If you'd like to donate on the YouTube, much appreciated. Again, tons of education, tons of fun stuff out there. Again, also, too, the coaching stuff, I really want to push this on people who have interest. If you've been struggling to figure out why your mind and the loops that you're stuck in, whether it's in trading, your life, career, anything, why you're stuck in these patterns, I'm telling you, this is next level coaching stuff. Again, I appreciate all the love, support. The people who have been through it, again, can vouch for it. Again, what we do, and again, because I've used it on myself, I know it works because it's the same kind of stuff. Basic therapy and coaching is just garbage. It really is. Again, they're reading out of a book. It's an experience of understanding who someone is and what they need help with. So again, tons of information out there, tons of things I'd love to help out with. Again, turn profits into properties and passive income. Again, if you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, and you do not hit me and my team up, I'm a little disappointed because, again, you get 2 agents for the price of 1. I have the best referral network in the country, and I can put you in touch with people that I think will help you find the best deals for your area, whether you're looking to buy or sell or invest. So again, here to help. Anything out there, again, book a call. Let's chat. Just, again, if you're spamming me, trying to sell me website design, all this, I don't care. I don't care if I look like great. Again, I like sliding under the radar. I do what I do for myself to help others that want help, not trying to market to the masses. Fear and greed starting to come back to neutral. Again, I've said this a million times. Again, I'll say it again. Anywhere between fear, greed, and neutral, again, you could go either way at that point. Because again, if you're in a downtrend, obviously you can get into extreme fear. In your uptrend, you get extreme greed. In between, chop, 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 chop. All right, Fed meeting. We know tomorrow, 0% chance of a rate cut. Again, I'm amazed. Like someone grokked my post when I was like, don't expect it. And people are like, oh, I'm telling you again, if the odds are not over 62 point, like whatever 3% I've quoted as, or 63.2, I can't remember what it is, then nothing's happening. But right now, this is a 99er. Nothing's happening tomorrow. Bitcoin, again, I don't trust it. Doesn't mean it can't go, but high and tight would be bullish. If this is a ugly looking cup and handle, cool. But at this point, again, if you've been trading Bitcoin any period of time, you know it goes into these big chop zones. I don't need to tell you what to do ultimately, other than be safe out there. That's all I can tell you and warn you. Because again, do I trust it? No, I really don't. Near term, again, all assets, when the tide goes out, if there is a quick pullback, tide goes out with the, everything goes out with the tide. I mean, you get pulled. So be careful. Good old oils we talked about. There's not much downside long term from the recent range lows. It bounced back again. I don't know why it's not showing up. It's up today. Not surprised. Again, geopolitical risk. We talked about this. I've been for weeks saying I wouldn't short oil. I like them upturn, but also I'm not going to trace and let things come back to you. So if you bought this stuff, congratulations. Natty gas, again, holding up. Just be careful with oil because, again, it could pull back on geopolitical unrest being solved. That's the hardest part with it. Like, again, do you think it's the price, like the action is good where it's at to buy, or was? Yeah, I did. But now it's kind of a little bit of a question mark. And not meaning that it can't go higher or, but it's just, okay. Again, if geopolitical risk gets solved, the rock bottom can get pulled out of it. And if it gets worse, it can go higher. So again, you're kind of trading the headlines. Oh, and there's the market close. Ding, 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 ding. Another great day to be in. Again, a lot of gratitude for what I do. Again, I make my own schedule. I trade. I help people out, doing real estate, doing coaching. Again, my days are long, but I do enjoy the variety of what I get to do. Because again, I don't sit around and stare at the fucking markets all day. What a waste of time. Dollars we talked about seems to be holding up. Congrats. TLT, as we talked about, chopping around. I don't know if rates are going to go higher or lower. I just know that we're stuck in this chop range. And until we break out of it, it's really tough to know, man. Again, it seems to be holding this 85 area, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we got back to 83. I do anticipate rates to be lower in the fall, but from now till, say, August, your guess is as good as mine, my friends. VIX, as we talked about, typically bottoms. The VIX bottoms first, and the VIX had upside. Okay, again, I'm not bearish is just a trade. Remember that. You can't get bearish forever. I personally think, the VIX pops. You get the pullback. Worst case scenario, you get a seasonal pullback in the market. Just maybe the VIX gets in the 20s, low 20s, and stays there. Or if geopolitical risk gets worse, maybe it could get higher. Again, I personally would not long anything off of the highs or at the highs. Again, we've talked about that. Oh man, ad nauseum. Again, why would I? Again, I traded for solar, got out of that and all my commodity names. Since then, I'm not going long anything. The risk reward is not to the upside, in my opinion. All right, Vivix, we talked about bottom first, confirmed last week, and here we go. Keep it simple, stupid. SPY said this yesterday, said this on the Discord room. I was like, I think this gap gets filled at some point this week. Well, it happened today. Now what? I mean, again, it feels like here you go, rubber band man, tired, more tired, smaller move. Now we're tired. Again, I don't necessarily know if the market's going to get destroyed, but would it be nothing? There'd be nothing wrong with it if it pulled back to these levels in the 575 area. Again, everyone is bullish at the highs. And I know sentiment doesn't look that bullish, but people genuinely think that the market can't go lower. And again, it's like that's where the sentiment usually leads me to think, well, maybe it's about to go lower. Could be wrong here. Again, it's a gut thing. Again, the market's really good at taking the most amount of money from the most amount of people. So you have to be a contrarian, but don't always be a contrarian. Be them at extremes. Right? When everyone's insanely bullish, you probably need to be a little bearish. And at the extreme lows and everyone's giving up, like down here, you probably need to be bullish like we were. Like it's not rocket science. So Q's below the 8 and 10 day, close below it. All right, let's see what happens at the 20 day. Watch the 520s. IWM, as we talked about, peaked first. It was leading up. Hit the 200 day, backing off. Okay, now again, how deep, how far? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I'm personally not expecting the end of the world, but I wouldn't be surprised if the market's just like I said. Summer could be ugly, choppy, sloppy, choppy, sloppy, choppy. Sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe. All right, gold. Nice chop. I mean, I feel like a broken record. I hate to spend a ton of time on this. Again, ever since Q2, we talked about like gold typically goes seasonally sideways or down. You're either consolidating the move or you go down. Well, it looks like consolidation. Even with everything going on in the world, still consolidation. I like seeing silver. Again, remember, the second quarter is almost over. So, again, I'm not saying that you can't buy. You might want to buy the next gold dip, if I had to guess. Like, that would probably be the best play, right? Now that it's played out. But wait for a bigger gold dip, in my opinion. But it could be wrong. Could they just start fucking rocketing up? I don't know. I like seeing this with silver, especially if you like gold. Playing a little catch up. Again, as someone who's been a long time owner of physical and traded this stuff for 20 plus years, silver, you want to see silver confirm a gold move. Now, silver is nowhere close to all lifetime highs, so good luck guessing where it could ultimately take a break or not. Like, it could get cooking and gold could go nowhere. Remember, the gold to silver ratio blew the fuck out. GDX, again, miners chopping around at the highs. Nothing really wrong with them. Again, it just feels like a little double top up there, but seeing, again, this is in a probability-based game. You can be wrong. Look at AEM, like, right? You want to see it breaking out. AG finally started catching up a couple weeks ago. Keep an eye on it. Coming into a long-term downtrend. I've talked about how Newmont needs to really get over this 58 area. It seems to be back at it. Can we break out? Pass. Again, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I liked it. I liked their buy and mag silver. If you bought this in the low 20s, feeling pretty good about it. Again, just manage your trades. There's no certainty out there. Again, if someone is selling you certainty, you certainly need to run away. Because again, as much as I know how to do things and been trading this a long time and can give out advice comfortably, I'm still wrong. There is nobody out there who is not wrong occasionally. Right? Again, the market likes to throw curveballs, knuckleballs, fastballs. Like, it just, again, it's just like baseball. You're not going to be able to hit every pitch. Taiwan semis we talked about. This thing had gotten some news on American production is coming in better than expected. Holding up, obviously, tech. This is what's tough. It's like you've gone from 135 up to 220 with basically no pullback of any sort. That's why I like the tech shorts. It makes sense. Micron, nice run, right? Look at that long wick today. Again, the volume not really great, but I was noticing that. I mean, a lot of these names starting, okay, here you go. Again, long-term, near-term, short-term. Again, I don't really want to overthink it. I think we're just due to out worst. Here you go. Consolidate or pull back. Either way, the risk-reward is in my favor to short the extremes. I could be wrong. Just talked about this with AMD yesterday. 200-day breaking with volume. Felt very trappish. Now you had followed up by a doji. Oh boy. Is it a doji sandwich to go higher? Or is it going to be like this? Where then it goes from 121 back to 106. NVIDIA. Shorted this today. You were like, you're shorting NVIDIA? Yep. Again, it's very binary. I hope you see that. Like, here it is, the risk reward. Buy it, tight stop, you're wrong, you're gone. Very simple. That's all I have to do. SMCI. Again, do you see how I take the emotion out of it? Needs to break the downtrend here. Like, you're just looking for things that are very like binary, obvious evidence. Don't have binary thinking that you can't be wrong, but look at the setups when they're binary, right? I look at this, and again, what's the probability of it going higher after it breaks a wedge? I mean, if I had to ask Grok, I bet it would be something like 73.4%. But who gives a shit? Buy it here. Dollar stop. If it goes, great. Because again, if you do a 2 times range, it takes from 28 up to 46. You do 18 points from this area here or from here. Either way, lots of fucking upside. Maybe you fill the gaps up here. I don't know, or touch the gap. Long story short, again, that's risk reward. That's how I think of trading. I don't sit here and paint grandiose pictures in my head. I look for things that look very simple. Like we talked about for Intel. Like, you could buy the range lows and you can sell the range highs. I think this gets bought out at some point, and it's like a token buyout from some company that wants American exposure, and it'll be in the low 20s, if I had to guess. AVGO. Here we go. AVGO, right? Gap down, post earnings, chopping around. Again, these names, a lot of these names starting to look weak, not making new highs. SMH. Dan, how are you shorting Soxel this morning? I'm like, I don't know. It just seems very obvious. We're up against the resistance zone in blue after a huge run from basically 169 up to 250, 265? Sorry if I'm talking like a robot, but it's like, holy fuck. People are like, are you shorting up here? Yeah. It's chopping out at an old resistance point. It's really simple. It's either going to fail here. How much, how deep? I don't know. I know seasonality is in my favor. Or it's going to break out. And I guess what? I can stop the fuck out. See how easy that is? Like, there's no thinking. It's like you're either right or you're wrong. And you get in and it's like, well, what happens if the world ends? Even better. Great. That would be a cherry on top. Not the world ends, but it just gets crushed again. That would be fucking fantastic. Do you see my point? Even if the risk reward is only 10 points, it's 10 points up. No, it's more like if it drops, it's got 10, 20 points. Like 10 points up from here after this move. No, it needs the worst consolidation. I hope you're starting to understand how my brain works. I've been successful at trading like this because that's what I fucking do. Keep it real binary simple. Adobe gaps down on earnings, chopping around, about to break the 50-day. Oh, fudge. Apple, so many people keep going, oh, you should buy it here. I'm like, dude, it's in the purgatory zone. Highway to the chopper zone. It does this. After big up move, it consolidates. I mean, you had this big up move, bull trap, another bull trap, and now you're pulling back to some old support level. Again, I don't give a shit. Apple trades off of its dividend and its buyback. And at this point, there's nothing sexy about Apple. Why would you buy it? It feels like it needs to go in the consolidation zone. Amazon, again, it's just sorry to be a broken record, sound like a dick, but I'm just passionate about what seems very obvious, but most people can't see. Amazon, we hit the resistance zone. Is it okay if it chops around? Yes, you bet so. Meta, again, Coop and the boys calling the 700 area as resistance. Nice fucking call, boys. Again, they were calling it all the way up along. So, again, congrats to the folks in the Discord room dropping dimes and nuggets. At this point now, consolidation would be okay. I said if you shorted Metu up in like the 41, 42 range, you're probably feeling pretty good. Again, I like shorting decaying leverage ETFs like the Soxis, right? All right, CRM, we talked about this one's been wild all over the place. Guggenheim, had an air bubble, aka burp, not a fart, chopping around, seems to be holding the 200-day. Again, certain tech looks way better than me to short. Microsoft, new highs, nice work. NDAQ, again, I forgot to short this one. Said watch this fake breakout, in my opinion. Now we're up here during, is it a topic? OPEX. Volume starting to expand. Would like to see a little more. Forget that was earnings stuff if I remember correctly. But here we go. Keep an eye on it. Again, I don't think tech is where the trade and the volume is going to be in the future. MicroStrategy, again, all over the place. Chop, chop, chop. It seems to that Bitcoin needs to break out new highs for MicroStrategy to get rewarded over the 430s. Until then, it seems like it's stuck paradise or purgatory. Again, when you find purgatory, just get out of it, right? Like if my trades don't work after a certain amount of time, I just leave. Because guess what? If you get stuck in this, oh my God, you want to talk about mental burnout? Fuck. I just hate being in chop. Meaning like I'd rather be in a move that's going to move somewhere. That's why, again, I took some profits in my commodity names because I'm like, I think they're about to go into sideways. Obviously, oil wasn't one of them that's gone sideways, but the other ones have. Netflix, again, I like the short up here. I'd love to see a retest of the high. Roadblocks, again, for what seems like almost forever, just keeps going higher. All right, we talked about this in the 20s and the 200-day. I mean, this is just, they were like, oh, why don't you buy it now? I'm like, are you I'm like, do you really want me to like blow a gasket? Actually, I don't really blow gaskets. It would just be like, lose all respect for you. It's like, no, goes higher. That's cool. Cool for the buyers. I was not one of them, but I cannot chase. Every time I chase, I get penalized. CrowdStrike, we talked about. What do we like in tech? What is the one sector we like? Does anyone know? Again, leave a comment below. Cybersecurity. There we go. Nice work. CrowdStrike and PanW again. Coop and the boys in the Discord room showing that one has been bullish. Again, it's hard for me to go long with what's going on, but again, it's kind of like what's that damn company? Palantir. Yeah, they're gonna probably do good in geopolitical unrest. Same thing with cybersecurity. Tesla. Talked about the 20-day, needs to get over it. Womp, 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 womp. Now, again, whether you're bullish or bearish long term on this, again, I personally was like, I don't think I'd buy this dip. I was definitely wrong. Here we got up to the 20-day. Now, again, let it pull back. I think Tesla's a buy at some point, but is it right now? No. Palantir, let's wrap through these faster. Come on. We talked about it again. It's got war benefits. Okay, seems to be holding up. It's kind of like oil. Again, it could pull back at any point, though. Insight, we talked about this as a buyout target when it was in the 50s. You could buy it. Now what? Market kind of tide pulling the market down. Not surprised. HIMS, again, I don't trust HIMS. Anyone can basically duplicate this company. No. Baba, we talked about, I like the 110 area for a buy, but it seems to be chopping around. No play on it right now. McDonald's, someone's not loving it. Seems to have broken 200-day. Yikes. Starbucks, we talked about this one buying the break of the 50-day with the target up to the 100, 200-day. Played out perfectly. Now pulling back. This is why you don't chase. Let it play out. Airbnb, again, been holding up pretty well. Pulling back, doing some deals with Apple. Coinbase, again, I don't trust Coinbase at all. But it's just chopping around, keeping on it. DKNG, I mean, again, it's tough to be bullish. You know, you can trade certain levels in certain stocks. But just be careful. DKNG seems to be the 100, 200. You probably could short that directly there at 38 with a tight stop. Binary. Costco. Again, this one's been holding up pretty well. We talked about then it started pulling back like a lower high. This thing's been on a monster run up thousands of percent. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is going into the chop zone. Watch for the low, I don't know, mid 800s at some point. FedEx, Specs. We talked about this bouncing from the 215 area. Not much. So you move on. XLF, we talked about. Financials broke the 20-day. We could, but even if the market starts pulling back, this one will probably pull back. But we talked about these names starting to get a little sloppy, choppy here. Some of them better than others. JP Morgan, again. Typically, you get a pullback of financials before their earnings. Well, their earnings are coming up in a couple weeks. We're due to pull back. Morgan Stanley, right? Same kind of thing. They look a little choppy and sloppy. Bank of America, choppy and sloppy. Goldman Sachs was holding up pretty well, again, with the wick at the end of the day. Again, a lot of these names. And here's where the rubber meets the road with financials. Look at the juniors. Making new lows. This is my point. You see what I'm saying? There's cracks in the armor here. It's just a matter of when, in my opinion, when the market breaks. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge break, but there'll be a big pull, a pullback and reset everybody real quick. XBI, we talked about this one popping, hit the 100-day, backing off. Jets, I mean, they started pulling back pretty heavily, right, with the higher oil prices. XHB, Lennar's earnings were absolute dog shit. Again, I'm not surprised a lot of these housing names are stuck. Let's get into commodities. I like commodities. I said watch for the 84 area on the XLB. All right, see what happens. Dow, again, you got to like Dow, but let these pull back, right? CE, again, all these names you got to like, in my opinion. Let them pull back. They had nice bounces. Caterpillar, again, 200-day, chopping around. Again, Cat and Deere have been holding up pretty well. I'm not saying I'd short them, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they go sideways for a little bit. Nucor, we like steel names, right? Chopping around. Watching the 100-day. Again, let these consolidate at worst. X marks the spot, getting bought out for 55. IIIN, a nice big move, consolidate. Let them consolidate. I hope this makes sense. VALE hits the 200-day again, backs off with volume. Dude, the longer these consolidate, the bigger the move that's coming. I like them. Arrow, as we talked about, hit some upside targets near term, hit the downtrend. Didn't hit my upside target, but I took profit because, again, the market doesn't make sense. I'm watching here. It could still get there. But, I mean, if you bought it in the 9s and 10s like we did, and you ride it up to 15 and 16, you go, okay, I can just live with taking some profit and see what happens here. FQVLF, again, this one's been trading in a range from 10 to 15. You're welcome. SCCO, again, we like copper a lot. Let it consolidate here. I'm telling you, high and tight, nothing wrong with it. Freeport McMoran, even if you do pull back a few points, awesome sauce. URNJ, again, this is one we were like, all right, let it pull back. Nope. Okay, you're wrong sometimes. But again, I'd be looking for dips on these names. Do not chase. Okla is another one. Do not chase, but wait for a pullback. CCJ, again, don't chase, wait for pullbacks. These things have been on, again, if you haven't been noticing commodities, some of these commodity names have been on fire. Look at CF. Since the April lows, people are sitting here going, oh, I hope NVIDIA makes new highs. Look at this motherfucker. Excuse my language. 67 up to 104 and making way highs. Over the 20. Again, Mosaic, same kind of thing. I mean, if you've been following some of these sectors, look at this. Here's your high for the year. Here's the low from April. Zinger, right? NTR, same kind of thing, right? Keep an eye on it. SQM, I've talked about buying. I almost pulled the trigger today on this and bought it. Big lithium name. I like this, but I would love to see a little berry trap. Meaning take out the lows if you have to and then bounce it back. AA, again, we talked about taking profits in the 29.30 area. Let it chop around. I mean, I'm hoping it chops around. I guess I can't tell you for sure. But again, take the profits, let it consolidate. Let's see what happens. Kalu's been a nice one for the team. Been holding up, or popped pretty well, chopping, holding up near the highs. MP, this one's been a fucking beast. If you bought the 200-day, congratulations, from 19 up to 35. Again, I want to go buy tech. No, do you? All right. REMX is in another one I'm watching consolidating. Again, Cliff is another one that you should put on your radar on massive dips. I think this is a buy. Again, consult with your financial advisor before acting. Solar, holy crap. I said I like solar, but after the tax credits get removed, this is what makes the market so hard. At some point, you will be You'd be humbled and humiliated by something that you couldn't predict to happen. Pulls back. Again, I'm so fucking glad I took my profits on First Solar. I had the 157.5 calls. Look at Sedge. I mean, all these names got absolutely toasted. Now, I did say on the Discord room, keep an eye on these names because, again, not necessarily these guys, but I think First Solar, I would love to see this thing get back into the 120, 130s. I think these names show you or show value once that gets priced in. Like, right? Now that the news is here, it's going to get priced in. So let's see what happens here. HYG, again, corporate debt, you got to be out of your mind to buy it up here, but it seems to be holding up. And so, again, I would put that in the bull camp of positivity. Oil, this is not a positive thing for the markets. They do not like seeing oil go higher. UNG seems to be crappy as always, but it looks like it's starting to wake up. KOLD, again, if you shorted this one on major pops every fucking time, congrats. XOP, again, we like the oil and gas names. Again, I'm not trying to sit here and say I know anything for sure, but again, you follow the evidence and what leads. Now you've gone from 100, I mean, people were like, dude, you're crazy. I'm like, you're crazy. Now if you bought the Gush, you know, what was that, 15, 16 range, you're feeling pretty good. Oh, wow. Point being is now we're up a little bit overbought. We've talked about how the gasoline names typically lead. We'll look at MPC, look at Valero. Starting to cook, right? We talked about ExxonMobil. Oh, show me ExxonMobil. There you go. Talked about buying this at the 102 level. Nice work. BP. Again, all these names like pullbacks, Occidental, right? Buffett ain't gonna lose on this one. I can guarantee that. Watching, I guess Buffett's giving up, but company still owns. I'd be watching it. Again, Devin, we talked about these. Put these names on your radar and wait for pullbacks. Apache, jump on it. Talked about buying this one or at the 16, 17 range. Ugh, missed that one. Again, I'm gonna miss some trades, but I can identify winners. That's all. It's not rocket science. Lyondell base chopping around. CVE, again, we talked about like buying this one around 13. Nice work. EQT looked like it was breaking out. Looks like it's confirmed. Hey, look at this big consolidation. Nice work, guys. And again, last but not least, Flex LNG, because I think we'll be natural gas exporters. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. Again, the market is not easy, and if it's not easy and you're not experienced, don't trade. And if you don't trade, it's going to be okay. There's always a day when the market's going to be open. Honestly, if you have time to like really sit with your thoughts and think about it, the best time to buy this is going to be when the market drops and the VIX spikes a little bit, or it's going to be the end of June. That's my guess. Again, I could be wrong on that unless if something comes out of nowhere. But if the seasonality takes place, and we know this is still like week 1 of World War III in the Middle East, I just wouldn't assume things are going to be great and dandy really quick. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Talk to you soon. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.